It may not look it yet, but over the summer, you're going to turn this into the biggest Horizon festival the world has ever seen. We have an amazing team keeping the festival running, but everything else is on you. You'll be choosing the type of racing we do, the music we play, and the star drivers we sign. This is your festival.
Hello everybody, this is Anthony John Agnello, Senior Social Editor at Games Radar Plus, and I am with Dave Roberts.
Hello.
And we are talking about Forza Horizon 3 for the Xbox One and Windows 10. Dave, tell me about Forza Horizon 3.
Okay, so where Forza Motorsport is the more simulation-based racing game, Forza Horizon is an open-world, arcade-based racer with a lot of customization options. This time you're in Australia, you can race through you'll race off-road in the outback, through rainforests, on the city streets. Only this time now, you're the boss of this hybrid music racing festival. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it works within the context of this game, and what it does is it sets up your journey through the different locations of the Australian continent and the races that you'll find there.
All right, tell me about the races that you will find there.
Okay, so it's an open world. There's a load of track variety, and there's a lot of stuff to do in between those tracks. You'll find hidden cars, you'll find billboards that you can break, and the individual tracks themselves are a huge variety between street races, off-road, everything in between. Often races will transform from an off-road race to a street race and then back again. So there's a lot of unpredictability in the courses, even though because they're not replicating actual race courses, they can seem a little indistinct. The Australian continent offers a lot more variety than previous games. There's rainforests, outback, the desert, coastal cities there, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. It is an amazing looking game. This is one that you want to show to people. There's also a lot more off-roading in this game too, because you're in the Australian outback and doing those sorts of races. So you will want to pick, maybe stick with off-road vehicles a little bit more, especially when you move to those more remote locations and races, because, while you're sacrificing speed with those vehicles, you'll actually be able to drive them and not crash constantly like you would in the more street-based vehicles. There are also a lot of social hooks in the game, leaderboards that pop up constantly telling you how much better or how worse you are compared to your friends, in finding the hidden billboards and driving on the streets and beating the game's best times. And now the biggest addition with that here, though, is a 4-player online co-op. So you could race against other people in a competitive mode in the open world, but it was sort of divorced from the single-player campaign, and now you can invite up to 3 other players to join you in the single-player campaign and race through those missions together, and all of your progress carries forward. It's not a groundbreaking addition, but it's one that is welcome, and it works how you would expect it to work.
Now, a lot of people who are obsessed with Forza spend almost as much time staring at their customization screens as they do racing. So customization is a big thing in Forza Horizon 3 this time, right?
So yeah, one of the biggest things about Forza Horizon 3 is how it blows out your customization options. You can choose your avatar now, which is kind of nice compared to the generic bros of the first 2 games. As always, you can customize your difficulty right down to rival AI, racing lines, that sort of thing, and the game will reward you based on how hard you make it on yourself to drive. And you can also tune your cars right down to like gear differentials, tire. You can upgrade your cars as well. Now you can customize horns. That's a new addition. I'm on the hunt for an air horn, so we'll see if I can find one of those. But now one of the big things too is that you can create your own blueprints for races and the individual like bucket list challenges. So you just pop into the menu once you unlock it, and you'll have your default race, but you'll also be able to go to the blueprint, set the conditions, set what type of car you want people to race as, whether you want them to race old clunkers or super fast cars. You can set that whether it's street or off-road, the weather conditions, all that stuff, and you can upload those to the internet so everyone can see it and play it and race it and enjoy it.
So All of that customization is really, really interesting. How does that tie into being the boss of the festival, though?
So that's about where the idea of being the sort of boss of this festival peaks. Most of it is really half-baked. So as you race, you'll gain, in addition to gaining money and experience points and skill points, you'll gain fans. Once you reach a certain threshold of fans, you'll be able to upgrade your festival locations and open new spots on the map. Again, tying back to the story, which is completely ridiculous. The thing is, though, is that this doesn't really do much to the core idea of being the boss other than unlocking new events and races. It's really, really surface level. You will be able to do a few other things, like you can sign new radio stations, which sounds like a really cool idea. It's like, oh, I get to customize this game how I want it to, but it just means that all of the music choices you would normally get at the beginning of the game, you only get 2 of them, and you get more as you play and unlock them. It feels good in that reptile part of your brain that likes unlocking things, but it doesn't really do much other than provide another barrier to that sort of progression. So don't go into thinking that this is some kind of racing sim where you're going to build this world how you want to build it. It's there as a way to gate your progress.
Now, all that makes it sound like it suffers from the same problem that Forza Horizon and Forza Horizon 2 did, which is that it didn't feel like it was really going anywhere, like it didn't have a point.
Yeah, and that problem is definitely here too. The progression definitely feels kind of aimless. The general cycle of Forza Horizon's games, and 3 in particular, is you are unlocking stuff and unlocking races till you get to the next big event, and then you can finish that, and then you unlock more races, and so on, until you just get bored with the game. That's not necessarily a bad thing. There's definitely no shortage of things to do, races to compete in, and with the customization, individual racetracks are endlessly configurable, so there's a lot of replayability, a lot of, if you just want to dink around and race in this world forever, like, there are so many ways that you can go about doing it. But after a couple hours of unlocking things, and once you finally get into its rhythms, you start realizing that it's running out of new tricks. And for some, that can be people who are looking for a more guided experience might be disappointed by that.
And so, what is your final score for Forza Horizon 3?
So while I think the campaign is a bit scattershot, overall it's a really good iteration on a proven racing formula. There's a ton of customizability. You can race how you want to race, which is really cool for people who just want to get in and just drive fast, or people who want to get in and tinker with everything. Offers something for everybody, and it's the closest thing we're probably going to get to a new Burnout Paradise. So on that note, I give it a 4 out of 5.
Everybody, if you dig this review and want more like it, follow Games Radar at youtube.com/GamesRadar.